Okay, for this video, we're going to do some data analysis in Google Sheets. We could also use Microsoft Excel. It's essentially the same. There's a couple tiny differences, but we're going to use Google Sheets because I know everybody has access to that. Most of the laptops do have Excel, but some don't, so this will just make it easier. So here's my data from yesterday. I've got 5 trials, and so here's trial 1 through trial 5. And then I've got the times that each flew. So underneath, I'm going to type in the mean, median, mode, and then standard deviation. I'll just type out the whole thing. Okay, so we are going to have Excel or Microsoft Sheet or Google Sheets, excuse me, do all the calculating for us. So we're going to click on where we want our number to be. We're going to always hit the equal sign anytime we're going to do a calculation, and then we're going to start typing in average because the mean is really the average. Oops. And right here, the word average, we're going to double click on this. And then, so this is like a pre-programmed little calculation in Google Sheets that'll do it for us. We just need to tell it what numbers we want. So I'm going to click on the first number. And the easiest way to do it is to click Shift and the last number. And it's just going to select them all. And in your box, you should see the numbers that you pick should pop up. And it's not doing that, so I must have done something wrong. So let's try this again. So I'm going to click equals, average, click on the first one, the last one while hitting Shift, and then hit Enter, and it will calculate the average for you. If you're doing this in Excel, it's under mean. I don't think they use the word average. We're going to do the median, so we're going to click equals, type in median. We're going to click on the first one. You can do Shift to the last one, or if you wanted to, you could hit Control and then just click on the numbers that you want. This is useful if you're, have a bunch of data points, but they're not all in a nice row like this. But it does the same thing. So hit Enter, and it picks out the median number. We're going to hit equals and then mode. And there's 2 different types of mode. There's single and multimodal. This means that it's only going to pick out one number. If you have a large set of numbers, it's possible maybe you've got 2 numbers that occur equally most often, so it will pick both of them out. We're just going to go with single, select our numbers, hit Enter. And the last one, standard deviation. We're going to hit equals and then start typing in ST. And then we've got 2 options here. We've got standard deviation sample, standard deviation population. If you know your numbers only represent a sample of all the numbers, then we want standard deviation S. And then if you know it represents all of the numbers, then it would be the P. So for example, GPAs of students in the 3D printing class are a sample of the GPAs of all high school students. If we had the GPA of every single student, then we'd use P. There's not much of a difference, but you should try to choose the correct one at the appropriate time. So for this thing today, the measurements that you took are the only measurements that exist anywhere of your flying thing and how long it stayed in the air. So we're going to use population. And again, we're going to click on the numbers. And this is the standard deviation. And in class, I'm going to talk a little bit about what this number actually means, but this is it. So now the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to make a graph of this data. So we're going to highlight this, and then we're going to go to Insert, and then we're going to click on Chart. And we should get some options. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. So here's our chart. We can customize some the different ways that this looks. We are comparing different categories, so this should definitely be a bar graph and not a line graph. And there's a couple things that we're going to do. We are going to customize our chart, and we are going to customize the chart axis and title. So this we could call this flight times. Oops. We're going to change the horizontal axis to trial and the vertical axis to time in seconds. And the last thing I'd like you to do, I should have told you to do this at the beginning. So under your chart title, I would like you to put your name. So flight times for Mr. Potter. Oops, it's gotta stay. And once you do that, you're gonna take a snip or a screenshot of this, and then you're going to turn this picture in to Google Classroom, and that is it.